messed out here. It's that time. Right there. Dangerous. All right. It's kind of controversial right here. Mobile One. Let me tell you a little story. I've been hooked on this stuff for a long time. I moved to North Carolina here. I technically can say that my family, myself, my wife, Michigan's economy crashed, auto industry crashed, and we basically moved here as poor. We did. I had a pickup, had an enclosed trailer, and I had different tools, but I came down here and I had to do a basic job. There were no jobs because after I came here, North Carolina's economy crashed. And I was not going to sit idle. So I started bottom pull. Very bottom, not sweeping floors, but I went from there, entered into that job, and quickly went from. All right, so I got into the weeds talking about the job. Yeah, I went from bottom pull to actually having one of the higher positions at that job. But regardless, I was driving a beater Saturn, and I'm about ready to talk about it. Getting off track. But I had an SL1 Saturn. 98 maybe? 98 SL1 Saturn with I think a 1.9 and 5-speed manual. What a piece of trash, but man, did that thing get good fuel mileage. I held on to that thing, held on to it, and man, did that thing drink oil. Now, I'd already learned the Mobile One with my Harley. After I put the stroker engine in it, I could not get the lifters to shut up on it, and it was heating the oil up too much. So when I broke my Harley in, and I switched from just I can't remember if that was 2050 or straight 50. I don't remember what it was. Actual V-twin oil. I did my 2 break-ins oil in it, and then I switched over to the Mobile One, and I instantly saw my oil temperature drop 50 degrees. Huge shift. Engine quieted right up, and I've been a believer in Mobile One ever since. Now, getting back to the Saturn, I got razzed on that a lot for running expensive full synthetic oil in that. But my thoughts were, I know this is bright. It is what it is. He's stepping in front of the alarm. I got to shut the thing off. My thoughts is we did not have anything. I did not have any means of replacing that car. And so I was going to do whatever I could to keep that thing in place. Now, I'm not a believer that you can run these synthetics past, like what? Some places say 10,000 miles or whatever. Ames Oil. Ames Oil is really big in the northern states, but I don't believe that garbage. No, I change our synthetic oils right at the same rate as I would a conventional oil. But I do believe in them. Now, there's a lot of controversy as far as different additives missing out of the oils, and I'm kind of with you on that some of these additives are actually pretty important, but they've had to pull them out due to it plugging the catalytic converter, your zincs and what have you. But when I tell some people what I physically saw with my own 2 eyes on my Harley, they say, well, that's a Harley. And it's like, you shouldn't be doing that, with your conventional engine. I've been doing it. It kept my Saturn alive. And anybody that says the Saturn was a good engine, you're lying to yourself. Total pieces of trash. But boy, I do not care. Anybody that claims that their new hybrids are saving the earth, our little Saturns which we owned quite a few of them, were doing just as good as all your high-tech, whiz-bang, battery sucking out of the earth, hybrid electric vehicles.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents on it. So, and actually, what was it? That thing, the fuel mileage was so consistent in it that I knew I could get, well, this is a lot of years back now, but I'm thinking I could get 400. I would reset the fuel meter. I knew exactly how many miles I could get out of a tank. And either way, I think it was 400 and some miles, and I had a pretty small tank. Yeah. Yeah, 430 or
Really?
yeah, and you knew I was unmerciful on that.
Yeah.
What a loser. What?
Why'd we get rid of it?
Why'd we get rid of it? All right, let's talk about filters. Got the Wix filter here. XP stands for synthetic oils. Why Wix? That's going to be my choice of filters for almost all vehicles. One is they have been the gold standard for commercial, industry, long hour filters. It is what it is. That's if a business maintenance person, that's what they always say, Wix. Now, with that being said, if I had a couple other choices, probably the gold from Napa. I think that's a pretty excellent filter, and of course Mobile One. I think they do a now. I think there's probably other good filters out there. I've seen K&N. Anything K&N puts their name on is going to be good, and I've heard Pure but I try to just stick with the Wix. That seems to be more and more what I switch over to. If I can't get the Wix, I probably end up getting the Mobile One. But that's why I use what I use, and O'Reilly's carries the Wix right on their shelf. If not, Napa can get them. That's what we roll with. All right. Harley's doing a little maintenance on mine. We got a Heim joint. I better cover that Heim joint in another video, but this takes a little over 5 quarts, about 5.5 quarts. So it's pushing 6 quarts. So it takes a whole one of these and a little bit more. Now I don't worry about. I typically get the one that states that it's under 100,000 miles. His definitely is. Mine's over 100,000, but protects up to 10,000 miles guaranteed. Nope, not doing that. So, all right, let me get some oil in this thing. Let me show you guys my funnel. I've been using this for several years now, and it's just I can't find a funnel that I like. They all come down to this pointed thing, and yeah, they work good for a transmission filter or funnel, but they just don't work good for adding oil. Or they'll be too big or whatever. So I got this. Well, I guess I don't need this on here. But I cut this with a razor and just a vinegar, plastic vinegar bottle. I guess you could use a 20 ounce or something like that. But clean it out good with acetone. And one thing I like about this is I shove this in the end, so I keep it clean all the time. I slide this down in there. Always has paper towel in there, so it's clean. Now I will clean it definitely if I'm switching away from motor oil, but you only got a couple options if you're going to be using a funnel. You got to keep the thing clean. So that's my 2 cents on it. 2 cents ain't worth much anymore, is it? Yeah, when I was growing up, I always wondered what inflation was. I mean, I knew what it was, what they meant by it, but we're really seeing it, aren't we? Barely afford a Happy Meal now. Yeah, I'm gonna just dump this whole thing in because I know it takes past this, which is good. Man, that Ram, not the Ram 3500, but even the half tons, that is fantastic. The amount of oil that they're using, as opposed to, it used to be that a lot of engines only used 4 quarts. That Ram half ton that I had with the 5.7 Hemi, that was 8 quarts. I think somewhere around there. And I think most of these vehicles they're all past 6 quarts. So that means your oil is being used, worked less over X amount of miles. So I'm all in favor of that. It means better cooling. If your engine does use some oil, it's not as big of a deal, because as opposed to burning, if you use a quart of an oil out of a 4-quart engine, you're down to 3 quarts. Yeah. If you use a quart of oil out of a 6-quart engine, you're down to 5 quarts. So you do the math, you should be able to figure out I can't figure out what the fraction. Jeez, the Common Core is working its way into my head now. Start it, and I'm not. Go ahead and fire it, and then just let it run for 5-10 seconds, and then we'll shut it off. And let the oil settle, and then I'll finish it off. I know most people don't do that. I do. Just take it out of gear. It's the little things that I'm looking for.
Here we go.
Good. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so we pushed it a little bit longer than we wanted to on this oil change interval. You know, I would say probably 3,000 miles is when you should be changing oil. If you trail it on the dunes or anything, your oil change needs to come down significantly from that.
Mm-hmm.
So how fast do you normally travel on the trail?
Not very fast.
I mean,
Yeah.
2 mile an hour,
Maybe.
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. So if we're out there, on the trails and we're running, I don't know if we're out there 4 to 6 hours. We'll just say 5 hours. So 5 hours out on the trail, running nothing. It actually amounts to maybe 10 miles that we traveled out there in that amount of time, as compared to if we did that same amount at highway miles. You need to figure that into your oil change intervals, because there's several hundred miles missing. And plus, I think that the trail miles are more harmful than the actual driving it daily.
Yeah.
The dust too. I mean, you really got to pay attention to your filters.
Yeah.
What else?
I mean, I don't think it's as rough, especially the way that I drive. It's pretty slow.
Middle of summer, there's a lot of heat.
Yeah, it's a lot of heat.
That's, I think you're taxing your oil.
Yeah,
Good amount.
yeah, for sure. I don't think it's hurting the engine though.
The dunes, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we turned some serious RPM for a 4-liter. So yeah, and I don't, for the 100 miles that we put on at the dunes, that probably is equal to 1 oil change interval.
Yeah, I thought about that.
So yeah, it's something. Until I changed it right there, I got thinking about it. I was like, we should have thought about that more. That we probably should be changing ours down around at the 2,000 mile mark.
I thought about that, especially up in Michigan.
Especially how much we trail.
I wanted to change it, but we kind of ran out of time and had to get back real fast.
The biggest thing is we just need to start carrying the oil filter.
Yeah.
'Cause you can get oil anywhere.
Yeah.
The oil filters sometimes are kind of a pain to find, regardless of vehicle.
Yeah.
if we just carried an oil filter, and because you can find a Mobil 1 anywhere. So, all right, we got that thing. I'm going to check it one more time. He started it. I think we're done. So,
Yeah.
and he's doing something else. So, all right.
All right.
See ya.